How to stop being jealous in a relationship.
Well, what is jealousy? Jealousy basically means that you feel threatened or insecure about other guys. Now, if you're with your girl and she's inviting attention from other men, or she's giving out her number and doing things like that that indicate she belongs to the streets, that's a different issue. If you're constantly insecure and jealous that she may be doing something inappropriate, then typically that either means you're insecure and you need to deal with that. You may need to obviously read the book and learn what things to look for, but you got to understand is that if you're dating somebody who's disloyal and doesn't value loyalty, monogamy, commitment, you can be the best boyfriend, the best guy to date, but if she's not loyal and doesn't value it, then when you're slacking off and you're displaying a lot of unattractive behavior, she'll go out for drinks with a friend, the guy friend from work, and then oops, it just happened. We slept together. Tends to happen with those women. Good women that value loyalty and monogamy are going to try to work things out and talk to you and communicate with you. But jealousy, women like it when a guy shows that he doesn't like other dudes coming up and hitting on his girl, but not to the point where you're jealous and insecure and you want to punch every guy in the bar or when you're walking in the mall that looks at your girl. You want to take it as a compliment. You want to be amused that other men think they can talk to your girl. Like if you're in a bar and you come back from the bathroom and your girl's talking to some dude and she looks over at you like, help. You just walk right up and start making out in front of the dude, and that's a lot of fun doing it that way versus going up and decking the guy or something like that and shaking his hand because it's just not worth it to start fights over that. Because if you get into a fight or a brawl, the guy could pull a knife, he could pull a gun, you could get arrested. It's just a bad way to go. And so James Bond is not gonna be threatened by other men being interested or trying to hit on his girl. But obviously, if you're with a girl that invites that attention and is cool with it and has other male orders, and you come back from the bathroom and you see she just hands him back his phone and she's put his number in there, that's a different thing. We're assuming you're on a date with a or dating a woman who's good,
And
who's loyal, and all that.
in that case too, it's not like going up to the guy and saying like, "What the hell?" It's more going up to your girlfriend like, "Why are you giving out this number?" Because the guy doesn't know she has a boyfriend. If you just come from nowhere, he doesn't know.
Yeah. But
It's,
if she's loyal, she's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I appreciate you coming over, offering to buy me a drink, but I have a boyfriend's in the bathroom and he'll be back soon."
For all you know, she could have given like one of her girlfriend's numbers or an ex-boyfriend's number. I mean, I've been guilty of doing that plenty of times, like fresh off of a breakup.
Giving an ex girlfriend's number so she gets a call from some random dude.
No, an ex-boyfriend's number. Like
Oh, a guy will hit on you, give an ex boyfriend's
oh
number,
yes,
and he'll be like,
that's
"Hey,
what I
I'm
would do.
calling for
Oh my,
Erica," and you're like, "What? That
and
bitch?
and
That's my
he
ex
would
girlfriend."
get calls all the time, and I
So
felt
those are the exes you don't like.
there were maybe two boyfriends that I did that to, ex-boyfriends
So
that I
that
did
was
that
like
to.
your way of getting revenge.
Yeah, because I was just like, I'm so sick of these assholes. How can
Man,
I
that's pretty
just?
savage. To give your ex's
How can I
phone
just
number out to dudes that
get?
are hitting on you.
How can I get it
I have not heard
like
that one.
through their head that I'm A over them and B like they really like hurt me to the point where it stung? I'm gonna go out and if anybody flirts with me, I'm just gonna give out their number
Man,
instead.
you're a savage.
This was also like 10 years ago. I was like in my early
This was
20s.
10 years ago at band camp, Corey. You can't hold me to
And
that. I was a different
also,
person then.
like, what if the person being jealous in the relationship is a girl? For instance.
Well, again, most of the audience is men.
Yeah,
So
okay, but what if it's one of the lesbians in the audience?
Well, let's say it's a girl and she's jealous and insecure, and every time, oh, you were looking at the waitress, or you were talking to her. I was like, what? I had a situation like that, and many years ago with a girlfriend that was very jealous, very insecure of other women, and her father had cheated on her mother, and she had had a boyfriend that had cheated on her. One of the guys out of her boyfriends had done that, and so she was insecure. And I finally one time I said, "Look, I'm a loyal guy. It's like, I'm not going to cheat on you. I have opportunities to, but I believe in keeping my commitment to you. If I wasn't happy, we wouldn't be together. So you need to get over it. And it's like, I don't want to hear this crap anymore. I don't want to hear you grilling me and, oh, she was looking at you or you were flirting with her. Or you were, it's like, I don't want to deal with that crap. You need to stop. If you want to continue seeing me, you're going to cut that out. And to her credit, she never, ever did that again. But sometimes that's setting and forcing healthy boundaries, and she respected them.
How would a woman stop being jealous in a relationship?
Well, that's if I was the guy and my girl's being jealous, that's the exact conversation I would have had with her. I have had in the past.
But
You
if
gotta
this is
tell
a,
her to knock it
if
off.
this is a woman watching the podcast,
Stop it. You're gonna drive them away. It's simple as that. You can't do it.
Him
You have to
or
discipline
her.
yourself.
You're gonna
It's
drive
kind of
them
the
away.
same way for both sexes. It doesn't really matter if it's male.
You
or
know, I
female.
think of it as like a
I'm
test
just trying
because
to like play the other side. Like, how would you advise a woman?
The same exact way.
If you want to keep him in his life, make his dick hard, not his life hard. And if you're constantly getting
That's what I was
jealous and
waiting for.
insecure and accused, assuming he's a loyal and faithful guy, like I was a loyal and faithful dude, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, this is getting to the point where I'm really sick of it because it was constant. And we would go out and we would double date. And then when the friends we were double dating with left, it was like, you were talking to her. I could tell she was hitting on you, and you were standing too close to her. I just finally had enough of it. After it had happened several times, I was like, I'm not going to deal with this. You're going to knock it off. And that's the way it's going to be. And I was serious. I was nice about it, but I let her know that my boundary was firm, and if she wanted to keep me as her boyfriend, it had to stop. And it did.
Some people say have the same mentality, and well, not the same mentality, but use the same speech as you do, and that's none of it's true. So
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind that it becomes a red flag when you've set that boundary and she continually accuses you of, because here's the other thing. No one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. Liars and cheaters are constantly accusing other people of lying and cheating. And if you're a good person and they're constantly doing that to you and you've set and tried to enforce a healthy boundary and they don't, then you need to look at their own behavior. It's countless times over the years I've seen that happen with guys and pointed out whether it's a wife or a girlfriend and they're constantly doing those things that and you've had the conversation about setting the boundary and they keep doing it, almost 100% of the time what ends up coming out is their phone, their text somewhere, they're giving out their message, they're giving out numbers, and the women are just simply not loyal women. A good woman will respect your boundary. A ratchet that belongs to the streets is just going to continue with it. And like I said, when you look into it, it's liars and cheaters always accuse everybody else of doing what they're guilty of.
it's not always all
I
the time.
disagree.
You can disagree all you want, but after having done tens of thousands of phone sessions over the years with dudes that are in relationships with women that constantly do that, and we have the text, we have the evidence,
But how do you know
It
that they're
happens
actually
most of the
telling
time.
you the truth?
Yeah, that's what I was trying
Because
to say.
I'm being a woman
That's
who
happened to
has
me.
because their
several different
girlfriend or wife is doing that to them constantly accusing them of lying and cheating when they're not doing anything.
But how
and it's
do you
because
know
she's
that they're
making
not?
up for the fact that she's the one lying and
But
cheating.
what if she's not, and the
But
man
what
is
if
actually
she's
the
not?
one that's
Because
doing
I was
it?
in that
I'm not talking to
situation.
guys that are cheating. This is just not happening in my phone
Okay.
sessions. I have had occasion where guys were cheating and got caught and messed up their relationship and they got dumped and they want to get the girl back. But almost 100% of them, when guys are in those situations and the girls are constantly accusing them of
Yeah,
cheating or
they're-
doing something wrong, you were looking at her, you doing this,
Then they were the
they go
ones.
through her phone. It's like, because she's projecting. That's like I said. If you just like my girlfriend, I set the boundary with. She respected. It was never an issue again. If you set the boundary and she's continually accusing you of lying and cheating and doing other things, almost 100% of the time the guy goes through the phone. It's like, oh, well, that's interesting. She's projecting, just like the politicians do it. They accuse their foes of doing what they've always been guilty of. The latest thing with, everybody talking about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump and the classified information that he had. Joe Biden apparently now had a bunch of, I think three different places. He had classified stuff. He was a vice president, so he didn't have the authority to declassify anything. But point being is that everybody you see on Twitter now everybody's using the memes that Joe Biden's like, these bad things. Even some people on the left were calling for Donald Trump to be executed for treason for having classified files. But point being is that typically what you see politicians doing, always accusing other people of doing wrong things, and then it turns out they get caught for the same thing.